burning down pretty good now. Just wasted all this time and effort. Let's give this another shot. Hello, welcome back to another episode from Pale Horse Survival and Tactical. I'm Bill, glad you could join me. Today we're cooking some steak, caveman style. Stay tuned. Alright, waiting for the fire to burn down here. I'm going to get some lunch going. I'm going to cook a flat iron steak directly on the coals. And in the meantime, I'm going to prepare some fir needle tea. Haven't had any in a while. And this is from the silver fir. You can see that silver stripe, the two silver stripes that run down on the underside of the leaves. Tops are green. Undersides are silver. Silver fir or grand fir. So I'm going to go ahead and set you up on the tripod. We're going to get that started, and hopefully we get some steak going here in just a little bit. Stay tuned. Okay. My trusty canteen cup. I'll go ahead and strip these needles off by pulling against the grain, the natural direction that they lay in. They come right off. Fir needle tea has much of the same benefits to it as pine needle tea. When you make this, you don't want to boil it. Boiling it destroys a lot of the beneficial constituents. Vitamin C is usually the first to go. You want to simmer it. Just let it steep for a while. We'll get some meat going in a little bit here. These come right off. Add some water. Be enough for about 2 or 3 cups. You always want to cover it, because the beneficial constituents will volatilize and it'll leave with the steam. So the lid, it will condensate on the underside of the lid and it'll drip back into the liquid. So if you allow it to just boil off, to steam off, you're actually weakening your tea. Our grandparents, if you remember, always put a saucer over the top of their teacups. It's an old way of doing tea. A lot of them some probably knew and some probably did not know the reason for doing that. I'll let that go ahead and I'll keep an eye on it. I'm not going to boil it, but I'm going to get it good and hot and just kind of let it regulate the temperature and let it simmer. You don't want to bring it to a boil. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for a while. I'm going to let these coals burn down, then we'll get the lunch going. Stay tuned. Still waiting on this fire to burn down. When this big piece burns down, we have a pretty good bed of coals there. And this is just starting to simmer. So we're looking good. Alright, looks like we're ready. Now, cooking meat in this manner is the original way our ancient ancestors prepared meat before cookware came along. Simply a good, it's an alternate way of preparing your meat. If you're ever in a situation you don't have cookware, if you're going to do this, make sure that the wood that you use is non-toxic. Don't use like yew, buckeye, poison ivy, poison oak. I'm using primarily incense cedar here and pine. So you let it get a good bed of coals and you drop your meat right on the coals. Make tongs out of fir branches. Firs have narrow, short forks. And there's a lot of fir up here in the mountains, so it's a ready-made pair of tongs, and I flatten the inside edges, the contact surfaces. They make pretty decent tongs. Use that for moving coals around, hot rocks out of your fire for the hot rock cooking technique, or flipping meat, whatever you need to do. This sears the sides, the outside of the meat, and locks the juices in. The meat comes out really juicy, moist, and has a char-broiled smoke flavor to it. I've done fish this way, salmon fillets, venison, you can do swirl, any type of meat. If you do fish you can do, scale it, clean it, scale it, and then leave the head on it, because you can put a stick inside the mouth to flip it, and the skin helps to hold the meat together. Fish cook very well on here. Salmon fillets with the skin on work really well, and this works really good with any type of meat. Now this little bit of charcoal on here and a little bit of ash, and it's a very small amount that actually gets on the food, and you can scrape a lot of it off with a stick or your tongs or whatever you have. is not harmful in any way. If the wood is non-toxic, it's not going to harm you, and actually it adds to the nutritional value of the food. A lot of people are unaware ash contains calcium, iron, copper, magnesium, potassium, zinc, among other minerals, so it's actually adding to the nutritional value of whatever you're cooking. And it's a very small amount that gets on here. I posted up pictures, it's about 2 or 3 weeks ago, of a meal that I cooked in the mountains in survival groups on Facebook, and I belong to a number of survival groups, primitive groups, and I was attacked by a lot of people. I couldn't believe it. They were completely, I mean, not everybody, there was quite a few that were fine with it, but there's an overwhelming majority. It got so bad in one group, I actually left the group. I blocked probably 40 people, and I actually left the group. My notifications just went nuts. Everything from get a pan, you effing hobo, to why don't you put it on a stick, or I would have used a rock. Well, hey, that's fine. I use rocks too. This is just the way primitive man did it, our ancestors, and it's an alternate way of cooking meat directly on the coals. And there's all kinds of accusations, that you're poisoning yourself with the coals and stuff. Coals contain lye, that's true, sodium hydroxide, but you'd have to ingest several spoonfuls, a lot of ash, in order for it to be harmful. The little bit that gets on the meat is not going to hurt you. Also, charcoal is medicinal. It's very absorptive. It absorbs toxins in the digestive tract and captures and holds on to them so they can be released from the body. So we're already starting to run some blood here. So you just let it do its thing, and you just keep an eye on it and flip it. And you can see there's very, very little that gets on the meat. But a lot of people, I don't know why people belong to these primitive groups, and then when a person who instructs in this kind of thing shows them an actual primitive technique, they rebel and go nuts. And it wasn't everybody. There was others who actually know how it's done, but if any of you are interested, send a join request to my Facebook group. It's the same name as the YouTube channel, Pale Horse Survival and Tactical. It is a private group. Look it up. You'll have to send a join request. I'll be happy to add you in, or my co-administrator, Josh Robson, will be happy to add you in as well. Josh is a very talented primitive, very knowledgeable, has great skills. And he posts up in the group all the time. And his YouTube channel, he's trying to get his YouTube channel built. I think he only has 400 and some subscribes right now. It's called Josh Robson's Wild Cache, C-A-C-H-E, I believe. I'll put a link in the description box below to his channel. But if you will, head over, check out his channel, and show him some love. Hit the subscribe button and give him some thumbs up. He's trying really hard, and he's a really good guy. But if you want, head over to the Facebook group. We have a great group of people there, and it's a peaceful group. We don't have any drama going on there. Had to get rid of a few that did try to engineer drama, and they didn't last. Again, that's the same name as the YouTube channel, Pale Horse Survival and Tactical. I'd love to have you guys over there, and I'm constantly posting up a lot of things that never, just personal things I run into while I'm out and about that never never reached the YouTube channel. So some of you probably find it very interesting. So I'm going to keep an eye on this steak. I like a good medium rare, personally. If you're cooking wild game, I recommend cooking it until it's well done. Simply because wild game can and usually does carry parasites. So it's best to cook it well done to be on the safe side. Domesticated foods you can usually get by with a medium rare. So we're going to give this a little bit more time. I usually don't scrape hardly any of the ash and the charcoal off, because to be perfectly honest with you, it doesn't bother me in the least. And I've been doing this for a lot of years. People in some of those groups, they couldn't believe it. What, you don't rinse the meat? Or no, survival. They're members of a survival group and primitive groups, and I don't think they really quite understand what primitive living entails. It's not clean and sanitary. Not in the traditional sense. This thing's just really starting to run juice. This is going to be really good. If you've never had meat cooked like this, you don't know what you're missing. I study a lot of the ancient techniques. It's something that I enjoy a lot. I'm also very heavy into ethnobotany, which is the relationship of, see, we're still not cooked yet. The relationship of humans and plants based upon their geographic locations and what they use the plants for. Medicinally, food, and also building materials, cordage. Always been very fascinated by that type of thing. So this piece of meat probably has about another 5 minutes. It's pretty thick, so a good 5 minutes, maybe 8 minutes. I don't think we're going to need to go much past that. Primitive man was much more robust than modern man, simply because I believe they lived a lot healthier in a lot of ways, paleo diet, and they definitely got a lot of exercise. There was no room for laziness. Primitive living is it's very labor intensive, especially when you have nothing but primitive tools to work with. So it had a way of weeding out the weak, just as nature does naturally with animals. Showed a lot of skulls of ancient people, and a lot of them had a good teeth. They'd have some tartar buildup, but they didn't have the problem with cavities and stuff with processed foods and things that we eat nowadays. A lot of it's very detrimental to our health. Steak's already shrunk. It's probably shrunk by a good 3/8 of an inch or so. That tells me we're cooking. Well, I can smell it cooking. Cut into this again and see what we're looking at here. Nope, still running some blood. Give it a little while longer. Tea has been steeping nicely for a while. Perfect temp. Still giving off some steam. You can see that condensation on the underside of the lid that we were discussing a bit ago. It's nice and hot back in there. Ash and charcoal are also alkali, which act as a natural anti-acid. So the little bit that's on the meat that gets on your food is actually going to neutralize stomach acid. I'm not going to cut the filming here, that way you guys can, the viewers can kind of follow along with the cooking process here. I don't like to cut video and in and out, and I think it shortchanges the viewer on certain subjects. It's good to kind of do things in real time, and that way the viewer can kind of get a feel for it, for how it's done and the progress of it. Now the fatter end, the thicker end of the piece of meat I put back in the hotter part of the coals there. So that's going to take a little bit longer. This thinner end's, it's probably already done up here in the front. Flip this again. We should be getting pretty close. Still seeing some blood in there. said 5 minutes ago, but it's a pretty thick piece of meat. I wouldn't cook in this manner anything that's, 2-inch thick piece of meat. The odds are the outside's going to cook long before the interior will. You want to get it up to 160 degrees, 180. If you're cooking pork, I would definitely recommend 180. This is a piece of Angus flat iron steak. It's going to be really good. Haven't had anything to eat since breakfast, so I'm definitely looking forward to. Definitely looking forward to eating that. I'm thinking probably another couple minutes. We should be good. Get some tea and enjoy some lunch. Check this guy out again here. Well, it needs a little bit longer. It's getting there. It's getting there, my friends. Just give it a little while longer here. God, I can smell that. Yeah, they really comes out with a really nice charbroiled smoke flavor. Salmon is unbelievable when done in this manner. I cooked it big fat. Oh, recently a couple of them on a couple different occasions, but they were pretty thick. I think that one took probably about 12-15 minutes on that thick salmon fillet. It was probably about 1.5 inches thick. Took a while, but God, it come out nice. Man, this really smells good. Oh. Spin this around so the thick end is facing inward. It's nice and hot back in there. Once I pull this off, I'll put it in the bowl here and give all of you a close-up. cut into this again and get a feel for where we're at. Oh yeah, we're getting there. Oh yeah. That's actually a good medium rare. I want to check that thick end. I know the other end's fine. Give that another 30 seconds here or so. I'm going to cut in on the thick end and give it a visual. We're getting real close to pulling this. I would guesstimate probably a couple minutes. The meat's starting to steam now, which is a good sign. I'm going to cut into this and see where we're at. Yeah, it's a little rare. A little rare up here in the thick end. I knew it would be. A little bit longer. Been a beautiful day up here in the high country and shooting some video, and the snow's finally melted off enough to get back into my base camp here. Been about 5 months since I've been here. Check the camera. Check the batteries. I'll go ahead and cut into this here again in just a few. You just kind of place your hand over, and it's pretty evenly hot here. As long as you got a decent bed of coals, you can have pretty even heating. Check it again. I don't want to overcook this. getting there. That's just about ready to pull. Just testing the temperature of the meat there. Usually if I can't hold my finger on it, it's usually around 160, 180. Give it one more. I think we're done. I'll cut into it here. Oh yeah, we're good. It's a perfect medium rare. It actually might be a little bit past that. I mean, this is absolutely perfect. Really came out nice. So I'm going to reposition the camera and get ready to chow down. Stay tuned. I'm going to pour some tea here. Boy, the flies are battling the flies for my meal here. All right. You can't have steak without primitive A1 sauce. I couldn't help but bring a bottle along today. Wow. Real super tender, juicy. Looks like a perfect medium rare. Wow, this is really good. Some of the better steak that I've done. We are running a little blood over here, so I think I'll probably pop it back on the coals for a few minutes. Mm. Mm, mm, mm. Mm. This really came out nice. Super tender and juicy. Wow. Yeah, if you've never done this, at least try it once. I think you'll I think you like it. If you like barbecue, you'll love this. This thick piece back here, I'm gonna pop back in for probably a minute or two. I'm sure I'll catch some flack for the A1. Bill, you're supposed to, you're showing a primitive way of doing it, and now you're eating with A1. Well, it is A1 sauce. So I'm going to go ahead and finish chowing, and I will pop back in a while to end the episode. Stay tuned. Alright, I popped the thicker side back in the fire on the coals, and just as I thought, it would take a little bit longer, but it's a good medium rare now. Man, that really looks good. It's a really good cut of meat. Really good cut of meat. And you can always rinse the meat if you want to knock the ash off or whatever. Just when you pull it off, just run some water over it and you're good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and finish my meal and then conclude the episode. Well, thanks for joining me for today's episode, and I had a lot of fun doing this one. If you've never had meat cooked like that, give it a shot. You just might like it. It's not something you obviously want to do all the time, but it's a good skill and another piece of knowledge that you can put inside your keep inside your survival toolbox. If you're ever in a situation where you don't have cookware, maybe it's an emergency situation, maybe you got lost, who knows, and you have to cook meat. That's just another way of getting the job done. It comes out pretty good, amazingly so. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna finish my fir needle tea here and get ready to pack up and get out of here. So I hope all of you are having an outstanding day or night, depending on where you're located, and I will see you very soon on the next one. And as I said, head on over to our Facebook group, Pale Horse Survival and Tactical, same name as the YouTube channel, and check out Josh's Wild Cache, CACHE, his YouTube channel. It's a real talented primitive, and my co-administrator in the group there. And I think you'll see some things that you like. And there's a lot of content in the group that never makes it to the channel here, so you'll kind of get to see what I'm up to in the off hours. And I run into different things, medicinal plants, edible plants, all types of different stuff. So I'm usually posting up different things, and Josh is always posting. He's in there every day. So anyways, guys, take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.